Hi there, it's great to have you join us today. Today, I'll continue our talk about the present perfect grammar. If you haven't checked it out yet, you should definitely watch my previous video. However, let's continue on with the present perfect as I'll talk about two things, the negative sentence and asking a general or yes and no question. First, let's get right back into our sentence structure. Remember that there are two ways that we generally use the present perfect grammar. One is that we talk about the past. We use a more formal and structured method of doing this. You may see this more when you go to a job interview, for example. We may talk about things that we have done at work. The second is that we can also use this grammar to say something started in the past but is continuing into the present. Now let's use this context. Let's say that a person started some tennis lessons and they are still continuing it today. In this case, we can say that person has played tennis. So let's look at the basic sentence structure. We have our subject, we have or has, and then a past participle. Here, we use have or has as our auxiliary verb, and then our verb must change into the third tense form. So for example, the third form for cook is cooked, eat, eaten, write, written. Have or has is used as an auxiliary verb, and this tells us, oh, I'm using the present perfect. The auxiliary helps us understand which grammar we are using. Has changes when we use he, she, or it. Let's look at a sentence. I have listened to a new album. She has listened to a new album. And you have listened to a new album. Straight away, you can see that the subject she changes the word have into has. So we must change our auxiliary verb for any singular subjects. Our main verb is listened, so we just add the past participle verb next to the auxiliary. Now, for the negative sentence, it's fairly easy. We simply use the word not. That happens across all grammar forms, but where do we put it? We simply put it after the auxiliary verb. For example, I have not listened to the album. She has not listened to the album. You have not listened to the album. So we sandwich the word not between the auxiliary verb and the main verb. Now that you understand what the auxiliary verb is, we can definitely ask a question. Typically, our general question or yes/no question follows this form: an auxiliary verb plus the subject plus verb. For the present perfect, we just modify this formula. So now it becomes like this: have or has plus the subject plus the past participle verb. Let's take a look at this sentence. I have traveled to Asia. My question would be, have you traveled to Asia? See how similar the sentence and the questions are? We just change the subject position and sometimes the subject itself. Now I followed the same formula. I took the auxiliary verb have. I added my subject, in this case you, and then added my main verb in the past participle. Let's try another one. Here in this sentence, I can say, he has cleaned the garage. What do you think is the question? Well, find the auxiliary first, because we need to match the same grammar. Then we add the subject and the verb and then the rest of the information. So our question now becomes, has he cleaned the garage? That's it for today. That is how we structure the negative sentence and the general question using the present perfect grammar. Now, practice makes perfect. So why don't you leave me a comment down below and tell me something you have not done in a long time. Myself, I have not played basketball in a long time. I miss the good old days. I used to play every day. Okay, awesome. Well, it's been great. So remember to subscribe to this channel and follow me on Instagram. My name's Joe, your English specialist, and this is Hula. See you next time.